At this moment, two people arrived with the monarch. The purple-haired man urged, "Hurry up." The monarch asked, "How are? What's going on?" Chu Hao shouted loudly, "Father." Gu Chang'e turned his head and looked at the three, frowning, "Nonsense. I told you to invite the monarch, but who allowed you to disrespect him? Hurry up and let him go." The monarch cupped his hands respectfully and asked Gu Chang'e, "Young Master Chang'e, what is this?" Gu Chang'e closed his eyes and smiled, answering, "I just asked for the vermilion bird's monarch to come watch the fun. The monarch need not worry." Wang Zhao was sweating, his expression dazed as he said, "Senior brother, if something happens to me, my family won't let the vermilion bird kingdom go. You know my uncle." Chu Hao clenched his fists, veins bulging, hesitating as he said, "Junior brother, I have no way out." Wang Zhao reached out and grabbed Chu Hao, his face pale as he shouted, "Senior brother, you can't give up on me." Chu Hao hurriedly jumped toward where the monarch was. Chu Hao stood in front of the monarch, but still occasionally glanced at Gu Chang'e. He spoke, "This has nothing to do with the vermilion bird kingdom." The monarch called out joyfully, "How are?" Gu Chang'e glanced at Chu Hao and smiled. Those who know how to read the situation are the true heroes. The third prince is indeed clever. Then, Gu Chang'e stared at Wang Zhao and thought to himself, "No rush, I'll first take some of your fortune, and then I can act. For now, I'll enjoy the appetizer." The system displayed Wang Zhao's fortune value as 250, and he stood there stunned, stammering, "Why? Why did it become like this?" The sky returned to calm, a deep blue and serene. The setting sun slowly sank, outlining a beautiful dusk scene. In the vermilion bird kingdom's imperial palace, the monarch sighed, "I once thought he had a gentle temperament, but it seems it was just a facade. However, how you acted too rashly today. If you've offended Gu Chang'e, it will be hard to protect Wang Zhao." Chu Hao looked at the monarch and answered in a deep voice, "Father's words are true. I didn't think this through." Su Qingge stood beside them, watching their conversation. The monarch suddenly became ecstatic, even with tears in his eyes. "Fortunately, Hao, you broke through to Quasi-Supreme. Today. One day, the vermilion bird kingdom will flourish because of you. By then, even Gu Chang'e, we won't have to fear." Su Qingge watched the two and thought to herself, "You have no idea how terrifying the young master is." Su Qingge reached out and pretended to wipe away her tears, saying regretfully, "Senior brother, this is all my fault. If I hadn't gone out in the middle of the night, senior brother Wang Zhao wouldn't." Chu Hao immediately turned to look at her. "Junior sister, it's not your fault. Wang Zhao's character is hard to change, and Gu Chang'e is too strong. No one can do anything about it. However, that woman's appearance is so similar to yours, do you know why?" Su Qingge gazed at Chu Hao absent-mindedly and whispered, "I don't know, but my mother once descended to the lower realm. Perhaps it was because of that strange feeling that I chose to leave the palace." Chu Hao stroked his chin, pondering, "I see." Outside the palace, a subordinate hurriedly ran in, kneeling respectfully to report, "Your Majesty, Miss One is asking to see the third prince." Su Qingge had a question in her mind and turned around to look. Chu Hao was surprised. "Wanner." The monarch patted his shoulder and smiled, "Go ahead, you two can catch up." Tang Wan stood outside the palace waiting, thinking to herself, "Brother Hao." Tang Wan smiled as she looked inside the palace. System prompt, the child of fortune Chu Hao has received what he desired, and his fortune has greatly increased. Gu Chang'e softly said, "Oh." He sat cross-legged in his room, smiling as he looked at the system panel, continuing to think. Because he opposed me, he accidentally exposed his cultivation and became the youngest Quasi-Supreme, praised by the world. After listening to Qin Gu, her face showed some surprise. She took a step back and asked, "What did my younger sister say?" Qing Xian, seeing Qin Gu so surprised, said, "Sister, I'm sorry. Is it because I?" Su Qin Gu turned her face away, though her heart ached, she still said, "It's fine, I don't blame you." Seeing Qin Gu so sad, Qing. Xian quickly asked in confusion, sister, haven't you? Qing Gu thought sadly, why is the young master treating me like this? Closing her eyes, she recalled the times when she laughed with the young master. I think that guy likes to play hard to get. It seems like the women who come to him willingly aren't his type. Qing Gu secretly guessed, has the young master already figured it out? In the ancient Holy Spirit city. Enmi angrily asked, what kind of attitude is this? You can't even find a bit of information. The two maids lowered their heads and answered, please calm down, young lady. Gu Changgu sat at the back, leisurely picking up a teacup and tasting it, casually saying, forget it, Enmi, there's no need to investigate anymore. When Enmi heard Gu Changji's voice, she immediately changed from angry to gentle and respectfully said, Master. Gu Changgu continued, I already know. Who has been secretly helping Chu Hao? The Wandao Business Alliance knows everything. If they can hide the information from him, it must be someone from within the Wandao Business Alliance. Enmi replied, I'm inside the Business Alliance, and no one dares to go against the master blindly. Gu Changgu calmly continued, in the Zhuke ancient kingdom, I've already investigated. Chu Hao had a childhood sweetheart named Tang Wan. And this Tang Wan, isn't she one of your Business Alliance's people? Do you know this person? Enmi gently patted Gu Changji's shoulder and confirmed, of course, I know her. She started working in the Business Alliance hundreds of years ago and is quite capable. Her grandfather is the leader of a branch in our alliance, and she holds some power inside the alliance. Gu Changgu puzzled, the leader of a branch of the Wandao Business Alliance. That power is indeed significant. Enmi then revealed her plan, Master. Tang Wan has a younger brother named Tang Tian. The Tang family dotes on him greatly. He is usually domineering and depraved. We can use him. After hearing this, Gu Changgu seemed quite pleased. She gently set down her teacup and praised, as expected, it's a good thing your tea brewing skills are decent. Enmi happily replied, if you like it, Master, I'll brew tea for you every day. On Tang Tian's side, a tall man carried a female cultivator on his shoulder and excitedly said, young master, the female cultivator we just bought is enough for you to play with for a while. The young man beside him looked listless, with heavy dark circles under his eyes, as if he hadn't slept for days, sighing, it's no fun. I'm already tired of playing with human women. At this moment, Tang Tian felt a surge of desire, if I can get a few from the spirit clan or monster clan, or even all the demons, that would be extremely exciting. Especially that famous demon queen, she must be incredibly alluring. When the shopkeeper saw Tang Tian coming, he immediately went to greet him, saying, ah. Isn't this young master? Tang. Please come in, please come in. We've just received a new batch of goods at the Drunken Immortal Pavilion. Would you like to have a look? Tang Tian, seeing this, impatiently said, you fat old woman, what good stuff does your lousy Drunken Immortal Pavilion have? They're not even as good as the slaves I bought. The shopkeeper hurriedly leaned toward Tang Tian's ear and whispered, young master, you don't know, but this time Drunken Immortal Pavilion has brought back an exiled nine-tailed fox. Hearing this, Tang Tian's eyes immediately lit up, and he hurriedly asked, really? Is it the nine-tailed fox, the one so high above, that was exiled? The shopkeeper continued to tempt him, pulling Tang Tian inside as he spoke, young master, don't worry, it's definitely true. How dare I lie to you? Hurry inside and take a look. Tang Tian, hearing about the new goods, immediately felt happy, waving his hand to signal his subordinates to stay behind. He grinned, hee, fine, today I'll have a look at this nine-tailed fox. At this moment, one of Enmi's maids was tightly bound, a cloth shoved in her mouth preventing her from screaming. Upon hearing someone enter, she immediately looked up. Tang Tian walked into the room and saw the nine-tailed fox lying on the bed. He excitedly said, TSK, the shopkeeper didn't lie to me, didn't lie to me. Tang Tian, while taking off his outer clothes, continued, I often hear my sister say that your clan always rides on the Tang family's head, especially Yin Mi. I can't touch her, so today I'll ride on your head and vent my anger. After saying these lewd words, Tang Tian had already stripped off all his clothes. Ignoring the maid's cries, he laughed and walked toward her, saying, the young master is here. However, before he could touch a single hair of the maid, the door was suddenly slammed open, and Yin Mi angrily shouted, Tang Tian. Tang Tian, hearing someone shout his name, trembled in fear and asked, who? Yin Mi coldly looked at the shopkeeper and questioned, shopkeeper, what is going on here? The shopkeeper immediately changed his expression and, with a mournful face, explained, Heavenly Lady, forgive me. This was all ordered by young Master Tang. He asked me to arrange a room for him. I had no idea he would be so audacious. Tang Tian turned around, looking panicked, and said, Yin Mi. What is this fat old woman doing? The maid, no longer pretending, spat softly, and the cloth in her mouth fell out. Tang Tian, seeing this, was stunned. The maid, crying, complained, Miss, you finally came, please save me. Tang Tian is despicable and shameless, he knocked me out and brought me here, he wants. Tang Tian, hearing the maid's accusations, stood frozen, unable to say a word in defense. Yin Wei angrily seemed ready to attack the despicable person. She asked, in broad daylight, how dare you touch my maid? Do the Tang family not recognize the nine-tailed Sky Fox clan? Tang Tian froze and replied, I was tricked. Yin Wei forcefully tied up Tang Tian, making him kneel in front of her. Gu Chang'e also appeared beside her. And Yin Wei immediately questioned him, Tang Tian, do you want to harm my grandfather and sister? Tang Tian quickly denied, no, I had no involvement with the Wan Dao Merchant Alliance, why are you capturing me? Yin Wei angrily said, what nonsense are you spouting? The evidence is irrefutable, and you still want to argue? Gu Chang'e, standing by, added, Yin Wei, who is this scoundrel, daring to offend your maid? He should have been punished long ago. Chang'e, while calming Yin Wei, summoned an item to punish Tang Tian, Lady Tian, please calm down. I have a magical artifact that should make this foolish rogue realize what he has done. Yin Wei, satisfied, said, if that's the case, then I will borrow this item of yours. At that moment, Tang Tian, tears streaming down his face, continued to desperately argue, I did not offend her. He cursed, you lackeys, slandering me, framing me. Tang Tian warned, Yin Wei, if you dare kill me, my Tang family and grandfather will never let this go. As soon as the words left his mouth, a huge golden scissor flew straight toward Tang Tian, who was kneeling. Seeing the scissors, his face turned pale, and he dared not shout anymore. Gu Chang'e ordered, take him away, execute him. If young Master Tang repents and reveals the truth, record it in the shadow stone. Hearing the judgment, Tang Tian cursed, you murderer, you're truly insidious. After cursing, he fearfully said, I confess. I confess. I was bold enough to try to abduct Lady Yin Wei's maid when I was drunk and tried to commit beastly acts, but was caught by her on the spot, sob sob sob. After confessing, Tang Tian still shouted in dissatisfaction, grandfather. Sister. Hurry and save me, sob. They're too despicable. Before he could finish, he was dragged away for execution. Only Gu Chang'e and Yin Wei remained in the room. Chang'e spoke, aren't you going to the academy to seek the real truth? Yin Wei replied, my strength has reached its limit, and instead of going to the academy, it's better to help the master with other matters. Upon hearing this, Gu Chang'e said no more, have all of his subordinates been dealt with? Yin Wei confirmed. Yes. Though Tang Tian is foolish, his sister Tang Wan is no simple matter. She probably won't believe easily. Chang'e smirked slyly, saying, whether she believes or not is irrelevant. When dealing with prey, there's no need to overthink. Then, Gu Chang'e gently took Yin Wei's hand and said, "All right." He continued, "Before the fish bites, let's take a walk." Yin Wei felt a little shy from his sudden gesture. But she didn't refuse and happily agreed. At the Tang family, Tang Wan was focused on painting, and the strokes on the canvas contained immense power. While painting, she murmured, "Brother. See how, I hope you break through to the supreme realm soon. Then, even if Gu Chang'e has a supreme artifact, he won't be able to harm you." As soon as the brush stopped, strands of black smoke began to emerge from the painting. The ink that Tang Wan had painted turned into fierce beasts. She gazed at them and sighed, saying, "My painting ability can barely match the Saint Realm. To help brother see how, it's still far from enough." Suddenly, a maid rushed in, pushed open the door, and shouted in panic, "Miss! Miss! Something big has happened." Tang Wan calmly asked, "Haven't I taught you to remain calm in situations like this? Why are you so frantic? Stay calm." The maid still couldn't calm down and hurriedly reported, "Miss, after young master got drunk in the Holy Spirit Ancient City, he attempted to violate Lady Yin Wei's maid, and was caught by Lady Yin Wei on the spot." Tang Wan, hearing this, stood up in anger and slammed the table, shouting, "What? That fool Tang Tian dared to touch someone from the nine-tailed Skyfox clan." After calming down, Tang Wan fell into thought, No matter how foolish Tang Tian is, he knows that our Tang family balances the Wan Dao merchant alliance and the nine-tailed Skyfox clan. How could he be so careless to get caught? There must be something hidden in this matter. The maid continued, "Miss, Lady Yin Wei has already released the Shadow Stone, and young master confessed his crime. The whole Holy Spirit Ancient City knows about it, and father is so angry that he said he won't handle it anymore." Tang Wan whispered, "Such a matter that damages the family's reputation, grandfather won't help. It seems I'll have to personally go and redeem him." The maid asked worriedly, "Miss, you and Lady Yin Wei have always had conflicts. Isn't it dangerous for you to go personally this time?" Tang Wan answered confidently, Her cultivation is about the same as mine. She can't harm me. If you're worried about an ambush, bring experts who are loyal to my jade talisman." Even so, the person Tang Wan felt the safest with, the one she trusted the most, was still Si Hao. A trace of worry flashed in her eyes as she thought, "This matter is better handled by brother Si Hao, it's the safest." But right now, he should be in Zhuke Ancient City, dealing with the calamity of absolute sound. As expected, Chu Hao was fully immersed in cultivating the curse of absolute sound. Several people stood nearby watching his cultivation, and one of them remarked, as expected of a quasi-supreme, "He possesses such overwhelming power." Jiang Chu was also present, and upon seeing Chu Hao diligently cultivating, she thought to herself, "Is he the third prince who has a conflict with Gu Chang'e? How pitiful." Chu Hao raised one hand high, and black currents of air formed a vortex around him as he stood at the center, becoming the most dazzling focus. Suddenly, Chu Hao furrowed his brows and said, "Strange. Why does my right eye keep twitching these past few days?" Meanwhile, Tang Wan had already arrived at Wan Mi's location, walking in with large strides and saying, "Wan Mi, I didn't expect you to use such tactics. I truly valued your attitude." Seeing Tang Wan appear, Wan Mi politely asked, "Sister Wan, how have you been lately?" Tang Wan didn't beat around the bush and got straight to the point, "Let's not say such pleasantries. Where is my brother?" Wan Mi slowly walked closer and said, "Sister Wan, don't worry. Tang Tian is fine." Tang Wan already had an answer in her heart, and she knew there must be more to the story. She said, "As expected, my foolish brother has been set up by you. What are your demands? Just say it." Wan Mi replied unceremoniously, "Sister Wan, you're so understanding. Then, I'll make a small request. I want to control the power of Jiqing Ancient City." Tang Wan expressionlessly said, "Wan Mi, Aren't you being a bit too greedy? Don't you think this demand is excessive?